What the fuck is up? Welcome back. My name is Noah Hills. You can find me on Twitter at noahmoreparties. You can find me on TikTok at noahmoreparties, and you can find all of my written work and rankings for Devy, Dynasty, and rookie drafts, all running back stuff at noahmoreparties.com. And today's video, last video I did my top 5 wide receivers in this year's rookie class. I'm contributing to the BDGE rookie draft guide. Have watched film on a lot of wide receivers. This is my next 5. I don't know if it's 6 through 10. I don't know. But it's 5 guys that I liked on film. Zay Flowers was not on the first list. He's also not on this list. I have not watched Zay Flowers. I also didn't watch Parker Washington. So if he belongs here, so be it. I don't know anything about him. So this is... Other than those two, this is my next 5, maybe not best guys, but like most interesting guys. Guys that I enjoyed watching. Guys that I thought... Just guys. This is 5 more wide receivers in this rookie class that you should maybe care about. Let's do it. The first guy I would like to talk about, we'll say he's 10. This is not a ranking. Don't say this is a ranking, but we'll say this is 10, just for the sake of organization. At 10, I have Nathaniel Dell, who played for Houston. And what I did in the first video, I will do again in this video, where this is taken straight from my notes that I wrote down as I was watching film. So here you go. Nathaniel Dell at Houston. First thing I wrote down, tiny. Then quick as fuck. Then ridiculously quick. Then absolutely cooked a guy on a slant into the end zone against Tulane. Then looks like when 2K streamers mod their players to make them super small. Then gets up to speed, blah, 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 blah. Okay, he's tiny, he's super quick, he's very, very small, but like so quick. Like relative to the level of competition, he's one of the quickest players I've ever seen. Like he looked against like Tulane and teams like that as quick as somebody like Tavon Austin looked at West Virginia, or like Lamar Jackson looks in the NFL. Like Nathaniel Dell, compared to the guys he was playing in whatever conference that's in, the American Conference, he's just as quick compared to those guys as like Lamar Jackson is to NFL guys. Super quick, super small, gets up to speed really fast, killer release package, hard to cover on like double moves downfield. I thought he was a pretty good route runner. Impressive body control and ball tracking on like deep balls, throws to the sideline, throws to the back of the end zone. His catch radius is absolutely tiny because he's so small, but proportional to his catch radius, he's a great like circus acrobatic catch guy. The negatives, he breaks no tackles, like 0 tackles. I don't think I saw him break a single tackle. He can get manhandled throughout his route. Press coverage, he can get manhandled. Through his stem, he can get manhandled. Through his breaks, he can get manhandled. Downfield, he can get manhandled. Like on the sideline, he can get manhandled. If DBs get a hand on him, it's almost game over because he's so small. And if it's a contested ball, he is not catching it. If there's another guy touching him and going for the ball at the same time, it's not happening for Nathaniel Dell. And because he's got such a small catch radius, there are a lot of balls, off-target throws, that Dell can't get to that other guys would have a shot. Like something that's a foot, like, you know, he jumps as high as he can and it's a foot over his head. That's a completion for DK Metcalf, where Nathaniel Dell, that might be a pick on an overthrow, or it's going out of bounds. Or maybe he barely tips it and it goes up for a pick. Like, he's small, and like, okay, some guys are small, but that has real life consequences on the field for him in plays like that. So that's essentially it. He's super small, he's super quick, he's pretty fast, great hands, can get manhandled everywhere. At 155 pounds, the smallest wide receiver to put up 12 PPR points per game, which is essentially wide receiver 2 level production in PPR. The smallest guy to do that since 1990 is James Jett, who finished as the wide receiver 26 at 165 pounds on the 1997 Oakland Raiders. So a guy this small has never been productive in fantasy, and a guy 10 pounds heavier than him is the only guy that small who's ever been productive in fantasy in the last, 32, 33 years. So Nathaniel Dell is good, but very small, and that means his odds of hitting are also very small. But I like him anyway. He's a fun player. Tutu Atwell gets, meaningful snaps on the Rams. He's not fantasy relevant, really, but, Nathaniel Dell, he could be Tutu Atwell. The next guy I want to talk about is Jonathan Mingo from Ole Miss. Easy comps. Very convenient, lazy comps because these guys both also played at Ole Miss. But Jonathan Mingo is like a guy with A.J. Brown's body, had 80% of DK Metcalf's skill set. So he He looks like A.J. Brown. He plays like DK Metcalf, but he's worse than both of them. It's pretty much all deep stuff for him, or like Mickey Mouse routes underneath and at the line of scrimmage, like screens and, short, even deep crossers, but just like stuff where he doesn't actually have to run a route. He just runs in a direction. But after the catch, he's good, strong, explosive, pretty quick and elusive. He breaks tackles. He's got stupid speed. There was a play against Vanderbilt where deep ball, like a post, but like a 50-yard ball, where he, at the time the quarterback released the ball, Mingo was like 2 strides, like a good 2 or 3 yards behind this defensive back. Looked like it was going to be a pick. And within the span of time that it took the ball to travel in the air to where Mingo was, he had made up the 2 or 3 yards between him and the defensive back and added another 2 or 3 yards to pass him and catch the ball, all while the ball was in the air. Like, he just has ridiculous closing speed in situations like that. But other than deep balls and really simple underneath stuff, he's never open on anything else, ever. He's never open. It's like he has no idea what he's doing as a route runner. There was one play against LSU where he approaches the defensive back to break one way or the other, and it ends up being a slant, but he shakes and then just stabs a leg out in front of him like a kickstand and just pegged himself to the ground. And it looked like he could have hyperextended something. He didn't get hurt on the play, but it looked like it was super awkward like that. He just has no plan, very little technique as a route runner. He just can't get open unless it's just running by somebody deep or catching a screen pass. He did line up as a tight end H-back type thing to block on the interior relatively often at Ole Miss, which is kind of cool. Don't see a lot of wide receivers do that, so maybe that's some value that he adds to an NFL team. He was blocking defensive ends and linebackers on the interior in the running game, so he's willing and able to mix it up inside. But for a big speed receiver, you think there's a lot of work on the boundary, catching out-breaking routes on the sideline. Didn't see a lot of that in his film really at all. Like I said, he's kind of like DK Metcalf, but smaller, less freaky after the catch, not as good in contested situations. He's sort of like Dante Moncrief, I guess, if you remember him from a few years ago. Jonathan Mingo is basically a create-a player with, you have a limited amount of skill points to distribute in all his attributes. You just max out speed, max out vertical leap, max out, whatever, quickness, and then there's no skill points left over for actual skills. So that's Jonathan Mingo. He's big, he's fast, jumps high, he's not good at anything else. Okay, the third guy I want to talk about is Xavier Hutchinson, who I really liked on film. He went to Iowa State. He's got good size. I don't remember how big he is. Maybe 6'2". Doesn't really matter. He's big. He's got good size and got a thick build. He's not one of these tall, skinny AJ Green type guys. He looks like if you took Christian Kirk and made him 20% bigger. He played in the slot a lot, which is kind of interesting for a guy that big. And he wasn't a super crisp route runner. He doesn't look like Jerry Jeudy out there or anything, but he was always open somehow. He's got a wide catch radius. Iowa State, he's kind of built he's not as skinny as Hakeem Butler, but the way that he's able to catch off-target throws and jump and catch, balls in contested situations, very Hakeem Butler-like with him wearing that Iowa State jersey. But he's got strong hands through contact. He's coordinated on the sideline. Unlike Mingo, he did a lot of work on the boundary despite lining up in the slot a lot. So there's evidence that he can, show the sort of body control and coordination needed to make those catches in the NFL. He's also got impressive just circus catch, contested catchability in general. This might be his best trait. He's nice athleticism, good body control, good hands, lots of circus catches on the, he almost too much. He dives for everything. He wants to be Brandon Lloyd so bad. He jumps for balls he doesn't need to jump for. He jumps late and or slightly away from where he needs to jump in order to make catches look cooler, I guess. That's what it looks like on film. He's just waiting for a ball that he can jump at the last second to go up and grab it so it looks cooler that he's reaching up instead of catching it at his chest. Just dumb stuff, diving for passes that he could have caught while running. It's just silly stuff where I feel that could get coached out of him, but it's a weird tendency he has. I thought he was kind of a broke man's Drake London. Lots of superfluous stuff in his game, but not a lot of holes in his game, I thought. So I really liked Xavier Hutchinson on film. The next guy I want to talk about is A.T. Perry for Wake Forest, who might have been my favorite guy in this entire class outside of the big names, outside of Addison, Johnston, JSN. I really like Downs, all the guys I named in the other video, Butte. Outside of those guys, A.T. Perry looked sick to me on film. He's quick and nimble for his size. I don't remember how big he is, but he's like at least 6 feet tall. He's got to be like 6'2", 6'3" probably. And one of the best route runners that I saw in this class. He's got a nice release package, creates a lot of separation by like stacking defensive backs on deep routes. He's always open downfield. Again, he's not one of these guys that's like Jerry Jeudy or Jordan Addison or Calvin Ridley. Like, he's not going to like give you these flamboyant dead legs and stuff, but he's just always open. He doesn't drop passes. He's kind of a long strider with decent long speed, but he drops his weight well. Great ball tracker, good at like positioning himself or like making adjustments downfield, sliding inside a defensive back to get leverage on a ball, or kind of like leaning away to get a defensive back moving that direction so he can come back this way to actually catch the ball. He's just really good at those like subtle things at the catch point a lot of the time that help him get separation and make tough catches downfield. He's kind of the same style of player as like Josh Gordon, without the freaky like after the catch stuff that Josh Gordon had. But before the catch, A.T. Perry looked a lot like Josh Gordon to me. I don't think he's like, I'm not predicting 1,600-yard seasons in the NFL for A.T. Perry, but maybe like a post-suspension Josh Gordon comp for A.T. Perry. And then the last guy I want to talk about is Jalen Hyatt, who I don't actually want to talk about, but he's one of the guys who's like a borderline top 5 receiver in this class. So, and I don't hate that take. I agree with it, but he's just, watching the Jalen Hyatt tape was completely soulless, soul-sucking, joyless experience. Like, I don't watch a ton of college football during the season, but I knew that this guy won the Biletnikoff, scored like 5 touchdowns against Alabama, is getting Will Fuller comps, who Will Fuller is one of the like sickest players, in my opinion, in recent NFL history. Like, he's such a cool player. Fast, contested catches, him and Deshaun Watson and DeAndre Hopkins in Houston was just like a basketball team. Jalen Hyatt's getting those comps. Sounds like a player that I would have a lot of fun watching on film. Wrong. Awful. I don't want to say that he's lazy. I know that Tennessee runs like a gimmicky offense where it's just like deep balls and screens, but anytime it wasn't one of those situations for Jalen Hyatt, like where he wasn't part of the main design of the play, he wasn't running a route that looked like an early read, he was just going half speed all the time, which, you know, whatever, if that's the Mickey Mouse offense you're running, then so be it. But like, hopefully that's not an actual effort issue, because if he's the 3rd read on a play or if the 4th read on a play in the NFL and he's just jogging through his route on a play where he otherwise could have gotten a reception, he's losing you fantasy points, and it just wasn't fun to watch. It was either he blew by somebody deep to catch a deep ball, he caught a screen and like got 4 yards, or he was walking through the game. Like, he's not a fun player to watch, but he is very quick. He explodes out of his breaks. I think he relies more on his quickness than on like technique or any sort of good plan to win, you know, in and out of his breaks. And he's inconsistent there as a result of that lack of like technique. He's not bad at it. He's just inconsistent. He's quick and explosive, so he can be good in and out of his breaks downfield. His best trait is his strong, other than his speed. He's really fast. But his best trait, and the thing that makes his speed valuable, is that he has really good hands, like strong hands through contact, good in contested catch situations, good even like over the middle, where somebody's going to hit him or there's like a DB kind of hanging on him. Really good hands. So he's not one of these like Kenny Stills guys or Marquez Valdez-Scantling guys who are going to get by people deep and drop half of them. Jalen Hyatt has nice hands, which is going to make him valuable to an NFL team. His speed is just effortless. Like, he just moves way faster than everybody else. It doesn't look like he's moving that fast, but he like is running by people. And he's got an explosive, like, extra gear that he can shift into to separate late, to catch, like, overthrown balls downfield. Just really nice speed. I would imagine he'll run faster than, like, 4.35. He didn't face a lot of, like, press coverage from what I saw. They put him in motion frequently before the snap to get him, like, a running start. So he gets going sideways, runs like full speed across the field. They snap the ball, and then he goes up the sideline like he's already moving at full speed before the snap. But yeah, that's what I got about Jalen Hyatt. I think he'll be a valuable NFL player because he's very fast and he catches the ball well. I'm not sure what else he does great. He'll probably be a relatively inconsistent option in fantasy. But yeah, I don't know. I didn't have any fun watching his film. But there it is. That's 5 other guys. Jalen Hyatt, A.T. Perry, Xavier Hutchinson, Jonathan Mingo, Nathaniel Dell. My next video will surely be about running backs. So thanks for watching. See you on Wednesday. Have a great weekend. Peace.